Hey guys, we are going to be doing slides or covering slides 18 to about 29 today. Please make sure you have some paper or your notebook to take notes. I'm thinking for this section, it would be great if you made a T-chart and then you can make notes based on the T-chart. So on your T-chart, so just draw a big T on your page. You're going to label one side of the T with this word prokaryote or prokaryotic. It's kind of the same thing. And then on the other side of the T-chart, write eukaryotic. And then I'm going to talk about what those words mean. So draw your T-chart, write prokaryotic on one side, eukaryotic on the other. So basically, cells are grouped into two different categories, either a prokaryotic or eukaryotic cell, or sometimes we say prokaryote and eukaryote. So the first thing I want you to do under prokaryote is write the word pro. Pro is a prefix that means first. So write that down first. And under eukaryotic, write down EU. EU means true. So what do I mean by first? Well, a prokaryotic cell is considered to be the first cell that existed on Earth, or a primitive cell. So primitive meaning not very complex, okay, very basic. Bacteria would be an example of a prokaryotic cell. So write down example bacteria under prokaryote. Prokaryotic cells don't have a nucleus. They don't really have any organelles inside. They just have a couple things kind of floating inside. They're very basic. Prokaryotic cells, an example, are bacteria. They're very small and just basic. We do still have prokaryotic cells today. Bacteria is the example. Bacteria are believed to be the ancestors of the first cells that existed on Earth. Under eukaryotic, again, you have the prefix EU. You're writing true. These cells are the cells when we talk about cells. When you studied cells in 4th or 5th grade and you learned the parts of the cell, you were studying eukaryotic cells. Eukaryotic cells have a nucleus. They have other membrane structures or structures that are covered by a membrane. So please write those down on your T-chart. Okay, underneath the T-chart, skip a few lines, you can write down membrane. It's a thin, flexible substance that encloses something. It acts as a barrier. If I am talking too fast, hit pause, write these notes down, and then unpause. Membranes are similar to bubbles. All right, back to our T-chart. So prokaryotes are made of prokaryotic cells, and most of them are unicellular. So on the T-chart under prokaryote, write unicellular. If you haven't written down bacteria, write that down. And they're very small. And they only have a few internal structures. This is an example of a prokaryote. You might want to draw this in your notes. Draw like this oval, draw a little tail. That's called a flagella. You don't need to know that right now. Cilia. Okay. Under eukaryotes, or eukaryotic, eukaryotes are made of eukaryotic cells. They are usually multicellular organisms. Examples would be plants and animals, fungus. Those are all eukaryotic cells. Eukaryotic cells are usually larger and more complex. And they have a membrane-bound nucleus, meaning they have a nucleus that is surrounded by a membrane, and they have organelles. An organelle is basically, when you were in 4th or 5th grade, you learned parts of the cell, but the science word for parts of the cell is organelles. So organelles means parts of the cell. If you want to draw a real basic model of a eukaryotic cell, this is an animal cell. There's a nucleus, and then there's other organelles. Okay, we're going to do some questions. So you might want to skip a couple lines under your last notes and write these questions down with the answers. I would write down for this question, I would write a butterfly. And you're going to use two terms to describe this butterfly. Butterfly, because it's many cells, would be a eukaryote. So write down butterfly. You could draw a picture if you want. Is a eukaryotic cell. and it's multicellular. So for butterfly, you're going to write eukaryotic and multicellular. All right, this thing is called a paramecium. We haven't really talked about a paramecium before, but they live in water. And so if you want to just draw a little circle, these are little cilia, little hairs to make it move. It's only one cell, and it's prokaryotic. So you're going to write prokaryotic and unicellular. 7, this looks like a drawing you already made earlier. Okay, so this is a bacteria cell. So it's unicellular and prokaryotic. Again, prokaryotic and unicellular. 8, this is an animal cell. Animal cells have a membrane-bound nucleus, so they're eukaryotic. These are true cells. And animals are multicellular. So you're going to write down animal cell, eukaryotic, and multicellular. All right, a sunflower. Sunflowers belong to plants, therefore they're eukaryotic, and they're multicellular. So the answer is going to be B and D. But for what I want you to do is draw a picture of a sunflower, write sunflower, and you're going to say eukaryotic and multicellular. How many cells make up a unicellular organism? So you're going to write this down. How many cells make up a unicellular organism? And then underneath that, you're going to write answer. The answer is 1. How many cells make up a unicellular organism? 1. What is the key difference between a eukaryotic cell, true cell, and a prokaryotic cell, primitive cell? Write that question down, and then only write the answer down. Let's read them. The answer is A. Eukaryotic cells contain a membrane-bound nucleus. So for 11, the answer is A. Don't just write A, write out the actual answer. Pause if you need to. All right, I'm skipping this question. But if you want to know the answer, you don't have to write this one down. This is a paramecium. It's unicellular. Okay, but don't worry about that one. Okay. Interesting.